MSI is coming out of the gate this year with some very impressive laptops. We have some mid to high-end stuff, but there's also this very interesting $999 laptop that I saw that looked very promising. So for 2023, we have a slew of new hardware. We have new CPUs from Intel, the 13th generation. We have new GPUs from Nvidia, their 40 series. And the combination of the two promised some big gains for the new generation of laptops. So at the top, MSI has their GT77 Titan. This is their flagship, and this is the device that Intel uses to showcase their top-of-the-line chip. The 13980HX, it's got 24 cores, so that's 8 P cores, 16 E cores, and when you throw this thing in Cinebench, this thing delivers shockingly good performance. It just dunks on the previous 12th generation stuff. This thing can almost keep up with the fastest desktop chips out there. It's very powerful. Now, to get these numbers though, you need to cool this chip properly, and this device can do it. There's a reason why Intel chooses this particular product to showcase what their chips can do, because the MSI Titan can hold all 8 P cores at around 5.2 gigahertz sustained. That's for an extended period of time. It can hold that boost. Now the GPU in here is the 4090, but I've been told that under no circumstances am I allowed to test or benchmark this thing, and I do take that seriously, but from what I've seen from their presentation, this generation of GPU looks to be a massive gain in performance, but more importantly, energy efficiency. Just the ability to pull that kind of performance on significantly lower wattage than the previous generation is very impressive to me. I think this is going to deliver some crazy GPU performance when I'm able to test it. Another cool feature you can get on the new Titan is the world's first 4K 144Hz mini LED display. And this tech gives the screen the ability to control the backlighting across 1,000 different zones to have way better contrast ratio. So bright elements in games and movies will be able to pop out really nicely on this display. It can peak at around 1,000 nits, so you can have HDR content on it. You also have your Cherry MX keyboard. This device is stacked. It's their best of the best. So if you're looking for that and the best performance, the Titan. Okay, the other top tier performer I saw from MSI is their Raider. So this year is the GE78 Raider, and it's an all new design this year. And the most eye-catching thing when you look at this device is their new light bar up front. And this thing looks so cool. So instead of a solid light bar that they've run in the past, it's now a dense cluster of LEDs. And it has this like retro futurism vibe to it. It reminds me of the lights that you see on the Hyundai, like the Pixel lights, I think they call them. It's got that kind of vibe going on. I think it looks awesome. Now the keyboard also has individual RGB lighting, but the rest of the laptop still has that kind of retro vibe to it. There's some color accents that are black and red and gold that just feel purposefully dated, but that's just the look they were going for. Now performance, you can get this thing with up to a 13980HX again, as well as the 4090 at the top end. And I'm assuming crazy performance if you can swing it. You also get a nice selection of ports going around the device with a full-size SD, and the power connection comes out the back. The screen on this unit is great. It's 16:10, QHD+, 240Hz, it's super fast, and it has accurate colors. Now I did take a quick peek on the inside. The heat pipes have been redesigned this year. There's now a dedicated pipe for the VRAM, and it looks very solid overall, but we'll need to test a retail unit when I can get my hands on one. Okay, next up are the MSI Stealth devices. So they are, I'd say that's my favorite performance device from MSI, their Stealth series. Now they have a 14, 15, 16, and 17-inch model, so all four sizes. So the 15 and 17 remain the same, like shape and design from the previous generation, but the 14 and 16 are new, and they look real nice. Let's start with the Stealth 16. It comes in a star blue or white color option. This year it's made with magnesium alloy, so it keeps the weight down, very rigid material, and it keeps the fingerprints off. So this whole time I was handling it, it's a much cleaner looking surface than normal. It's a very nice looking design. So the screen is a 16:10 aspect ratio. It's QHD+ at 240Hz, and the webcam up top has a privacy shutter. For ports, we're looking at two USB-C, one of them being Thunderbolt 4, and there's a single Type A. Now, if you take a look at the back panel, it has a very perforated section, kind of like you see on the Raider. And if you take a look on the inside, we're looking at two NVMe slots, two RAM slots, and a 99 watt-hour battery. Now, keep in mind, this is a very early pre-production unit, so a lot of stuff can change and be optimized and tweaked over time, but the general idea of the hardware is there. So the Stealth 16, it looks so nice. The aesthetic of it is so simple, and the back has this real subtle stealth logo on it. I think it looks good. You can configure it up to an i9 and an RTX 4070 at the top end. Now, that's the 16. There's also the 14-inch Stealth, and this device is the same idea, but has to package it into an even smaller chassis. It's a little bit lighter, but it's still running that RTX 4070. And I'm assuming they're dropping the wattage going from the 16 to the 14, but in order to cool that thing properly, they're running a vapor chamber across both the CPU and the GPU in the 14. So the 16 had just traditional heat pipes, the 14 has a vapor chamber. Now there's only one NVMe slot, but there's 2 RAM slots, and on a 14-inch performance device, that's not a thing. Like from my memory, every 14-inch gaming laptop or just high performance laptop I've ever seen has had memory that's baked on, or like one stick that's baked on, you can swap out the other. This is, I think, the first one I've seen with 2 sticks that's user replaceable. I like seeing that. The battery is a little bit smaller, but I think it's gonna be one of the most powerful 14-inch devices you can get on the market. And it looks really good. If you look at the back of it, like that stealth logo is a little more playful than what you see on the 16, but overall, the design aesthetic, I think they did a fantastic job. Okay, last but not least, is the Cyborg 15. Maybe the least, actually, because this is the least expensive of the bunch. This starts at $999 with a 40 series GPU. So you get a 4050 or a 4060. And based on what Nvidia's been talking about, this is gonna be a pretty big jump up in performance compared to the 3050 or 3060. But what makes it possible, the reason why they're able to do this product, is because they're equipping it at the start with a 12th gen CPU. So you get the previous generation of CPU, but you get the current generation of the new 40 series stuff. So you get DLSS 3, you get the performance and energy efficiency of the 40 series. This is such a good idea for an entry-level laptop. Now the screen is 144 Hertz, but I'm not sure about its brightness because this unit, like this pre-production engineering sample I have, has a very bright screen. I just don't think this is representative of the final product. It seems impossible that it could be this good for this price, so I'm gonna hold back on that commentary, but the build quality is really solid. This is aluminum on the top panel with a very subtle MSI logo, and it's polycarbonate plastic everywhere else, and it feels strong, but it has this translucent kind of smoked gray paneling as an accent throughout the whole device. It's all over the bottom panel, but it's also on the hinge and the trim of the screen. It looks really nice, but it's just rare to see a device at this price point have any kind of consideration to the aesthetic of the device. Like usually at the $1,000 mark, it's just honestly plain or ugly looking devices. This looks really solid. And the lighting on the keyboard is blue, my favorite color. And it's not like the ugly royal blue, but like a nice Tron teal lighting. It's just, I don't know, man. I think this thing just hits really well for me. So if you're looking for something that's like more affordable, but has next generation performance and looks not ugly, Cyborg 15, baby. I can't test this thing properly again. I don't know how this thing actually performs because it's early hardware, but very, very promising. Okay, so that's the MSI lineup, at least the stuff that I had access to and could see. There you go.